What's going on, guys? My name's Austin. This is my 2013 F350. I just want to give you guys a little overview of the truck and the machine that I'm using. It's a 2023 299 D3XE. It's got 250 hours on it. I use it every day for my land clearing business. As you see on the front, I'll get a closer view up later, but I've got a Dennis Seamoff 150D on there, and I've also got a brush cutter on. This particular job I'm heading to tomorrow has I need to do both, so that's why she's loaded pretty full there. It's just a 25-foot trailer, load trail with 10K axles, oil bath, and then the truck is a 2013 F350, like I said, 20 by 12 Fuel Maverick wheels with 33 1350 20 tires. On the front here, I've got a Road Armor bumper, Alpha Rex front headlights, and then Morimoto mirror lights. And then for shocks, I've got Fox shocks, some ducks down in there. And then the biggest thing I like is these timbrens. This is a timbren rear rubber suspension. And for pulling a load like this, you need it. I was absolutely bottomed out before. It is a 350, but she's a little overweight with this setup. Got all this front weight on here, especially with the Seamoff. That thing weighs 2,300 pounds. That big old girl weighs around 13. And then that's, I don't know, 12 to 1,500 probably. But she handles it great. I've got the brakes cranked up pretty good. Got 250 hours on the machine here. This is probably the best improvement I've seen out of Cat in a while. I was running a 299 D3XE, I'm sorry, D2XE, where all the lines were exposed, and it just sucked. You were always having to be super careful of where you were running, making sure sticks weren't popping your lines, your drive lines. But I've been super happy with the Cat. She's seen better days, but mulching is not an easy job for a machine. On the Ford here, I've got a 5-inch straight pipe. And I would like to show you guys my favorite part of these timbrens is you don't set nothing. They're just, once you put them in, they're done. You don't have to put air in them. You don't have to adjust them. The biggest thing is probably just make sure they're tight, but they've got literally, I think 1 or 2 bolts holding them in. But when you're just driving around without anything loaded, there's like a 1/2 inch. They call for a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of space in between that puck there, but they just work so much better than the airbags. I had airlift airbags, and they worked okay at first. You know, they're kind of cool, but they make so much noise. The shop that I had put them in, they hooked them up through the brake lights, so they ended up messing up my wiring. So every time I would click my brake lights to unlock my pickup, they would turn on just for a second because they would get power then, and they just didn't do it right. They could have brought it up front, and I have upfitter switches, so it would just been easy on a switch to turn on and off. That's what I ended up doing later, but it's just a pain in the ass, to be honest. And I much prefer these timbrens. You can get them for the front as well, which I want to do in the future here. But like I said, I wasn't planning on using this truck. I have a 450 ordered. 3 months ago I ordered the truck in April. But still no word. My dealer's working on it. Just waiting on the factory. So, but other than that, 20 by 12, 33 1350s, Fox suspension, Road Armor front bumper. And then my favorite is under the hood. It's a KC Stage 1 Warlock, and I've got a CTS, an Edge CTS 3 to monitor all my pyro more than anything. So in here is a Stage 1 Warlock. So EGR is deleted. And then I've got EGT probe here. block off plate, stage 1 KC turbo. You can see a little KC on the top there. And this is a Warlock kit, so it replaces the, if you have an 11 to 14, it replaces this lower plenum, because the typical 11 to 14 turbos, well, I guess all of them, have a dual compressor setup where they have a lower intake and then they have a smaller upper. It spools super quick, but it really doesn't pull that great. It worked great for the time I had it, but then I had a gasket fail in one of the up pipes and it was starting to squeal, so I was losing pressure, and I just decided it was time for a new turbo. So we got a KC Stage 1 in there. I had them do the SNS disaster kit, which I haven't had any problems. I've heard people talking about they had issues with fuel pressure and stuff like that, but zero problems out of it. And let's see, I've had this thing on there for about 20,000 miles, I want to say. Then I got a cold side pipe here too, just to make sure everything runs well and no blowouts. She only pushes about 28 pounds. I've had it up to 30 pound range, but towing it's about 28 pounds, just on a conservative tune. I've just got a five position switch underneath the dash that I just mess with it stays on 2 when I'm towing. I've messed with 3 a little bit, but I really don't see much difference. Just seems to be more smoke, especially on the bottom end. I don't want to smoke everybody out. Before it didn't smoke at all. I had an HNS tuner on it, which I still have, but yeah, it runs great. Stock everything, stock trans. The guys at KC Stage, their personal truck they did this to was about 550 to 600 horse, and then around the 1200 foot-pounds of torque is where they stay pretty happy without getting too crazy on them. But yeah, I love the truck, guys. It's been an incredible truck. I almost bought a Duramax before, and I'm super glad I didn't. I know they have crank issues. This truck is pulling more than she should, but she's doing it very well. I just take it easy and watch my EGTs. But yeah, I want to get you guys some mulching content and some bush hogging content. Need to get this thing tinted in the near future, but she runs great. I blow it out every single time I use it, and that's one thing that a lot of people I think don't do. It's just negligence. You know, keeping that roof cooler, the auxiliary hydraulic cooler cool, yeah, blown out so everything stays cool is super important. And then just keeping everything clean. I mean, keeping your drum clean here, watching out for anything to get stuck in there. I just had this balanced. I had hit a 5-pound hammerhead and she smoked it. So had to get that balanced with my guy in Georgia, just east of Atlanta. But yeah, here's the setup. Hope you guys like it. 5-inch straight pipe. I'll get you guys a little startup video. I've got a couple videos of her running with a topper on it, but yeah, she rips. She really rips. So I'm excited to get a 450 and see how she does compared to it. And this has a 355 rear end, so it's pretty high geared for pulling this big of a load. I wish she had a 373 in it, but it is what it is. The fact that I have 33s instead of 35s helps a lot. Just a little bit less rolling resistance, but it's hot. But yeah, the 450 I ordered has 430s on it, so, and a 10-speed, so it'll be a completely different truck. It's supposed to be the 500 horse, and I think it's 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. But really excited to get that truck, put it through its paces, and see how it does. And yeah, I'll give you guys. I kind of want to do some videos driving this thing too, loaded, unloaded, show you guys what it's like, and because there's just not many videos of this thing pulling out there. It is a great pulling truck once you get it lit. When you start out on a hill going up, if you're stopped, it's smoky. You kind of got to lay into it just to get the turbo going, but once she goes, she goes. The only thing I'd like to do in the future really is probably a piping kit underneath, just for looks and sound a little bit, and then I'd like to do a track bar setup. So hope you guys like it. I'm gonna go get some air. Thanks for watching.